everyone. Today I would like to talk about fishing. I don't know if any of you like fishing. I love to go fishing. So I'm going to talk about fishing here in the Philippines and fishing in the state of Florida, down Atlantic Ocean in Daytona Beach, actually in Flagler County. I bought with me a Traveler's fishing rod, line, 50-pound line, and a good reel. My son actually gifted to me before I left the country, and so we figured we're going to take it out for a test, how it functions. So me and my wife went down to the local fish market, bought some fresh shrimp. That's the bait we usually use to catch smaller fish in the United States. So I figured it's going to work here in the Philippines as well. Well, went down. It's a place called Tubay, and there's a mining nearby too, nickel mining, I believe. So the water is not as clear as in Florida. It's more like blacky sand here, rough sand, and some bigger rocks. So it's not too easy to walk barefooted unless you're used to it. But anyway, it's very beautiful. So me and my wife went down, and first we cast in and wait, nothing for a whole hour, not even a bite. And then check the baits. I usually use 2 hooks with the anchor, lead anchor, and still nothing. When I find a little bite here and there, but somehow the fish was pretty smart. They cleaned the hook. And so it's not my first time I'm fishing, so I know when there's a good serious yanking on the line or the rod so I can catch the fish. So I figured I'd change the size of the hook. And I went down to a pretty small size. Well, we used up at least, I would say, 0.5 kilograms of shrimp, and not a darn fish I could catch. So we went back home, talked to my brother-in-laws. They do fishing for a living. Every day they're out there, but they use a boat, a rowboat. And so it's the way it's in the Philippines. It's a very narrow boat, and it has these little balancers on the side made out of bamboo. And they go far out, at least a couple kilometers. And they were telling me that you can't catch fish out on the side, on the shore, because it's so overfished. There's no jobs around here other than the mining, and that's even limited. The mining is cutting back because it looks like they're going to stop mining. It's been going on for years. They said it's almost impossible to catch a fish from the shore. And I was pretty disappointed, but I didn't want to believe them. I said, there's got to be a darn fish somewhere I can catch. So we went back next day. Early morning, we spent at least 6 hours there, burning up on the hot sun. Same thing. And my plan was to really catch a fish with, even if it's smaller, with a shrimp, and then use that as a bait for a larger fish. Again, nothing. A week later, we tried again and nothing. And this time we saw a couple of fishermen down there with the fishing rods. One of them was, I think, a foreigner, and asked if they caught anything. Nothing. No, nobody had any luck. And my brother-in-laws, even they have a hard time. Once in a while they catch a bigger fish, but sometimes it takes a whole month before they really grab something, be able to catch something. And they don't use fishing rods. What they use is I don't know how it doesn't cut their hand. They're so used to it. So they go out a couple kilometers, nighttime, always nighttime. And let's say from, in the Philippines it gets dark around 6:30. So they go out that time and come home around 6 in the morning. So what they use is a water bottle as a bobber, and then they have like 6 to 10 hooks lined up. And sometimes they only use like colorful plastic. I don't know how the fish gets on it, but they catch fish sometimes with that kind of bait. And then barehanded, not even gloves on, then they pull it up. Now if it's a larger fish and it fights, I mean, I'm pretty sure it can cut into the fingers pretty bad. And when they come out to the shore, usually there are brokers, fish brokers, and buys up the fish, whoever wants to sell them for cash, with a 50 to 60% discount. Because what they do, when they buy up the fish, and they buy up hundreds of kilograms because there's so many people out there trying luck. So they sell them either to some of it to local fish markets, which in Cabo Bran, it's called Cabo Bran. There's a big fish market, and also they go to restaurants. I guess that's where they really make their money, they profit. And now, compared to Florida, me and my son are not fishermen, but we love to fish. And we go down most of the time to the Atlantic Ocean. Sometimes we go to the Gulf of Mexico. But we like the Atlantic side. And what we like about it, if we go to Daytona Beach, we usually go down at 5:30 in the morning, and we wait for the low tide, of course. And my son has a serious setup. He's really into fishing. And what he does, he bought a specialized drone. There's this company, maybe more than one company in America sells them, that's for fishing. So it's about, let's say, a foot wide, 4 propellers on it, blades, and then it has a little hook. You can remote control that hook. You put the line in it, put your bait and everything, and you can fly it out to, really, really far. There's no way you can cast that far. And that's when we do shark fishing. So usually we start out with the shrimp, catching small fish like a foot long or shorter, cut them in half, and then we put them in a big hook for sharks. We like to do shark fishing because the thrill of it really puts up a fight. And sometimes it takes a half an hour, sometimes an hour to get it out, so you have to be in good shape to be able to handle it. It gets really rough on the arm. And so when we go down and we use that drone, we have a lot of people standing around already early morning. Many people goes down there, gold detecting with a metal detector, and they stop, we talk with them. We create some friendship. And then I'm gonna post pictures, show you guys. I don't have all the pictures anymore, it was on my other phone. But sometimes I catch 2 sharks a day. And sometimes different kind of fish, I forget what it's called, but it's even stronger than a shark. I think I'm not sure, it's a marlin or a swordfish. And so it takes 2 chairs down, and my son has his own cart. He paid like $800 for it. It has these big balloon tires on it, so it's very easy to tow in a soft sand. And when we do that, so we catch the shark, we release all of them. Doesn't matter what size it goes back. We don't need the sharks. The only fish we don't release is the small ones still allowed to be caught, because there's some rules what you're allowed to keep, what you have to release right away. And also Flagler County Beach is very nice. There's a private deck, goes far in, and you can only get in, you pay like $12 a day for 2 people. No, it's for 1 person. If you're retired, it's $8. But they have bathroom facilities there, cleaning stations on the deck, and little booths where you can be underneath a small roof if you don't have an umbrella. And it's a lot of fish there, very easy to catch fish over there. And so we like that place. It's quite a ride. We live further away from Orlando, so it takes like an hour and a half, but we like it. And they have a nice restaurant right down there. You can eat seafood if you like and drink a cup of cold beer. But back to Daytona Beach. What I like about that beach too is a beautiful white, like sugar grainy sand. And they have walking distance, clean facilities, toilets. You can wash your hands, it don't cost money. They have people around the clock. Not around the clock, it's open from 6 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. So they kept them up clean. Only thing I'm very surprised is that, because when I go down with my son, it's like a bonding time also, and also like to, relax and we talk, and sometimes we fall asleep in the chair because of fresh air and everything. And I like to drink a couple of beer when I'm down there. Not to go crazy. It's in a can. And we are very clean. We don't leave nothing around, the trash or anything. I hate to see that when people leave trash. When you have garbage cans everywhere, and lifeguards come with the crews, and they have like little trucks and golf carts that regularly clean the trash cans. So it's really kept up nice. But anyway, it's illegal to have beer on the beach. And I didn't know, so before I went to the beach, we bought some coffee and a cup of cold beer, and I put in my cooler the beer, some sandwich, and while we're fishing and talking, sometimes it takes a couple hours to catch a fish. I have my beer in the brown bag, so I don't want to look like an alcoholic or something. I drink one around 10, 11 o'clock, and then one in the afternoon. I'm really not a drinker, but when I go over there, I like to just really unwind. So anyway, I also had a Minelab gold detector that was specialized in beach and underwater gold detecting. So I was telling my son, I said, "Boy, you do fishing, usually has like 4 rods set up." I said, "I'm gonna walk and look for gold as well, or jewelry, anything I find in the sand." And another thing good, because I check on my phone, that thing that they say it's healthy to walk 12,000 steps a day. I think it's 12,000 steps. Well, I definitely got more than that, near 20,000 steps by just swinging left and right with a gold detector, trying to look for gold. And a couple times I got very lucky. Find some nice rings and jewelry, and sometimes just scrap. And it's just the thrill, and then the people stand around you. Everybody is waiting for that ancient gold coin to come up in the sand. And unfortunately, I never was that lucky to find that. So anyway, back to the fishing. So I finally go back to my son after walking so many steps, and he says, well, somebody from a hotels, because they got a lot of hotels down at the shore, used a binocular, and they saw me drinking beer, and they called up, I guess it's one of the lifeguards or whatever, the beach patrol, and they went up to my son and insisted they want to see the cooler. And my son was kind of pissed. He said, "My father's retired. He's not a alcoholic or anything, but this is just once or twice a month he come down. He likes to unwind, and no harm done. Just drinks in, smashes the can and put it back in the cooler, and at home you get rid of it, or on the beach you throw it in a garbage can." But the guy said, "Okay, I'm going to let it go this time, but next time I see you, unfortunately, I'm going to have to fine you. I don't know, several $700, I think." So I learned my lesson to never do that anymore, but kind of pissed me off. But what can we do? The rules are the rules. So anyway, back to the fishing again. So in Florida, I had much more luck catching fish. And sometimes we went also to Gulf of Mexico. And Gulf of Mexico, I forget what's the name of that place. We got some crazy big size sharks over there. It's very easy to catch them. And I'm thinking to myself, so many times people swim in the water, and some of them just go far, far in. No life vest. I mean, they're excellent swimmers, but it's like they become the bait for these huge sharks. They say sharks don't bother them. I don't buy that story, because every year there's stories that somebody gets bitten or a limb got bitten off, but they don't want to really put it out to the public, because Florida really depends on tourism, especially Daytona Beach. And if people really get scared away, they wouldn't want to come over there. And so anyway, back to the Philippines. I'm going to post also some pictures of my brother-in-laws. Once in a while they catch some serious big fish. And sometimes they keep the small ones, they sell the big ones to the brokers. They get very, very underpaid. Some of the fish in America, I know for sure, would sell at the size like that, probably a couple $100. Here, they're lucky if they get like, I don't want to sound crazy, a number, but maybe $20, maybe $20. And I know there's a difference in prices here, but when you go to a restaurant, you're still gonna pay not too much, depends on the restaurant, but you still can pay a pretty good buck for it, for a good quality fish. And So we decided I'm not going to try our luck over there anymore because it's almost unheard of, barely anything, nothing, no fish at all. So we're going to have to go to Devo, to the immigration office this week. It's going to take us about 7 to 8 hours drive, not because the distance, but because, well, it's far too, but because the road conditions are horrible. I mean, when I say horrible, somewhere, my truck is a 5-seater, I have to put it in first gear and travel like that for a few kilometers. But they just built a brand new highway, I think last year. I think it's 13 kilometers long. It goes down to the ocean, Pacific Ocean, and we figured on the way back home, we're going to try some luck over there and do some fishing. Hopefully I'll be able to brag about catching some fish this time. Good. I know Philippines must have a lot of fish because they have so many beautiful places and clear water. I mean, there's no way there's no fish in there. But the big problem in the Philippines, certain areas, at the commercial fishing, so overfished. You get Chinese huge fish, ships coming and doing commercial fishing by the net. And I don't think the fish population have enough time to reproduce. And then what I heard on the news that somebody dumped a bunch of some kind of poison in the water, and that affected it too. Then the radiation from Japan, they just released all that water back in the ocean, and they had a disaster due to tsunami. The nuclear reactor cracked, and they tried to keep that water as long as possible, but they just recently released it in the water, in the ocean. That can affect not just the Philippines, but all the way to America too, anywhere with the Pacific Ocean. So I don't think it's helping. Well, anyway, that's my story about fishing, comparing the Philippines to the Florida. I believe both places are awesome for fishing. You just have to find the right spot. Okay, well, thank you for you guys' time. All of you take care. Have a nice day.